Hi y'all, welcome to my shop. Today we're going to turn a real interesting project, not my design. It came from a Danish designer from 1959, Danish Modern, fellow named Christian Vidal, and it's just a really cute little bird, and you can change the shape. There's a couple of different body shapes, but you can turn them upside down, right side up. You can turn the heads. You can make them. You can change their expression in quizzical. It makes a nice little desk toy. The eye is a challenge, and it's the key to it. But I'm going to show you how to do that. One of the key components of this bird is the head and the unique eye that's composed of two dowels. And let me show you how that works. You can see on the bottom we've got the blank for the head, and on the top you can see the bird's eye and the black part. And here's how we make that. Basically, we're going to turn a dowel a ½ inch, and then we're going to place it inside a blank of maple that's about 1 1/4 inches, and then we're going to turn it off axis with that the center just between the white and the black wood, and that way when we turn it we're going to wind up with this particular type of shape. I'm ready to turn that ½ inch dowel that's going to be part of the eye, the dark eye, out of wingay, because wingay is such a coarse and brittle wood. I'm afraid this type of 60-degree cone is liable to split this. So I've got this little scrap I had with a hole in it, and that'll just allow the point to just protrude, so I can line it up into a hole I've marked with a center punch, and that will allow me to give it some support without running the risk of driving it in and splitting it like a wedge. We're going to turn this up to high speed. I want to turn it down here on the end. Turn it down a little bit. Okay. We're going to turn it, because it's a small size spindle supported on both ends. I'm going to turn this up as fast as it'll go. Shift over to the skew for a planing cut. Raise the tool rest just a little bit. Cutting in the bottom third. Anchor, bevel. Lift the handle till it cuts, and then start moving. I'll just guide my hand along the tool rest with support. And there we have our core dowel. So I've got this 1 1/4 inch piece of maple chucked up in a set of pin jaws, and we're going to drill that hole a ½ inch, and we're going to drill it in one side, turn it, and then drill it on the other side. Let's get started. I'm drilling at about 500. And let's be conservative and clear chips again. Always hold on to the Jacob's chuck when you're retracting. Now, to reduce the chances, to increase the chances it's going to match, because it's not perfectly milled lumber, I'm going to rotate this exactly 180 degrees. So this is the top, and it's now going to become the bottom as I switch it over. And you can use some other chuck if you got one that'll do this for you. You may be able to do it on a drill press. That just doesn't work for me. And I feel it coming through. Okay. Alright. Now time for the glue up. I always like to use these Spindle potato chip tops. They make great containers to put a little glue in, and sometimes I just find it easier to pour out a little glue. I know it's a waste, but this glue's getting old, so shelf life is pretty limited. Alright, so I'm just going to use this. Put it in there and then pound it in with a mallet. Lasts a little bit. Okay. Just put that in like so. And then we're just going to tap it in. It went all the way in, so that's good. Now I'll let that dry, and then I'll show you the next step. So I'm using this very small steb center, much smaller than the piece of wood we're turning. So I'll put that in. So on the tailstock end, I've left that little piece of wood with a hole in it to support the end of the live center to keep it from acting as a wedge to split the wood. So now we'll go ahead and turn it. Okay, now we got this blank mounted. We're going to go ahead and use our spindle roughing gouge and quickly get it round. Since we got it very securely mounted between centers, we're going to turn the speed up, maybe 2,500. Now I think I'll start moving this in just a bit and start using a skew. Get the cuts just a little bit smoother. Got the tool rest up pretty high for planing cut. Getting just a little bit of chatter, and it comes from three things. Tool may need sharpening, but I think I'll touch it up with a diamond hone. Could be this is thin, not much I can do about it. It's hard to support it with this particular tool rest. I can try to cut down the center as much as possible toward the headstock. And the other thing I can do is I can play with the speed a little bit of the lathe. Sometimes going too fast will make it chatter, sometimes going too slow will make it chatter. So let me sharpen this up, just touch it up just a bit with a diamond hone here. Just kind of stroke the edges a little bit. Doesn't take much. On the drill press, I drill the holes for the eyes. Okay, now that I got a hole on each end of the blank for the head, and notice when I measured this hole, I made the allowance for the tenon and parting off. So you got to measure that carefully. So I'm simply going to just put a little bit of glue liberally in that hole, and on the end of the dowel I previously cut. This one's a little bit. When you get ready to glue in the plug, make sure you orient it with the dark half at about a 45-degree angle toward the beak, not backwards. Otherwise, you won't get the same effect on the eyes. And I messed up on a couple of these, so be real careful and make sure you get both eyes facing in the same direction. Okay, now we're going to turn the head. You can see the eyeball. I cut it off flush with a bandsaw. First thing we're going to do is put it on here and put a tenon on it. I'm going to use this little scrap of wood again to limit the penetration. It's going to get a workout. There we go. Lock it down. And the first thing we're going to do is turn it around, put a tenon on there. Double checked my dimensions, actually 1 and 5/16, so we're going to go set that 1 1/4, and it doesn't have to be exact, but it gives us something to shoot for. This is going to be the beak, so I'm going to go ahead and use that to size. That'll give me some idea. I can tell when I hit that eye because of that end grain. It's a little bit like hitting a knot, but it's looking good. I think y'all can see that. Got just a touch more to go. Now we're going to put on my Nova G3 chuck with Sorby jaws. The Sorby jaws are interchangeable with the Nova chucks, as are the record power jaws. Most chuck manufacturers do not have interchangeable jaws with other manufacturers, but in this case they do. Alright, I think that's going to hold it well enough for me to be able to turn it without support, but since I've already got that little bit of a, I say damage there, a little bit of indentation we have to turn away, I'm going to go ahead and keep it from chattering while we go ahead and bring up a little smaller tool rest. Now the head of this thing, we're going to have to mark it on where we're going to turn, and I'm just going to center this by eye. I'm not going to get too terribly fancy with it. That's where the head's going to come down, and there's where it's going to become a beak. Okay, I was hoping for a little more room here to bring that curve down, but that'll be adequate, just not as much. Don't like to work that close to the chuck if I can help it. Now we're going to switch to a 3/8 inch detail gouge. Before we do that though, I think I'll go ahead and take this beak down a little bit with a spindle roughing gouge. Remove stock very quickly. Spindle stock, not to be used on bowls, of course. Just come in here to the edge and just bring it down. Now, you'll see when we bring it down over here, right here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Stop my roll over so I don't actually chuck. Just a little bit. There. Just a little extra. Alright, so we'll start rounding down. Rounding down into the sphere. Cutting the sphere by eye takes a little practice.